As the United States prepares for a surge of global visitors ahead of major international events, a new policy proposal from the Trump administration is set to redefine what border screening looks like. The plan introduces a significant new expectation for foreign travelers, one that could reshape the way privacy, security, and mobility intersect. Behind the bureaucratic language of a federal notice lies a shift with far-reaching implications, one that extends beyond traditional visa scrutiny and directly into the digital lives of millions. The Trump administration is moving forward with a proposal that would require all foreign tourists entering the United States, including those from countries that normally do not need visas, to provide their social media history from the previous 5 years. This information surfaced in a notice published in the Federal Register by Customs and Border Protection, outlining a mandatory new data collection requirement intended for future entrants to the country. This shift represents a major expansion of digital vetting practices. For years, the US has screened certain categories of visa applicants by reviewing publicly available online information, but the scope of this new plan is notably more comprehensive. Under the proposal, travelers would be required to submit not only their social media identifiers, but also email addresses, telephone numbers, and other contact details used within the last 5 years. Additionally, CBP plans to require travelers to list relatives' names and home addresses, reinforcing a broader strategy of relationship mapping and link analysis. The change is poised to affect people entering from visa waiver program countries, such as the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, France, and several others, who currently rely on the electronic system for travel authorization instead of a traditional visa. ESTA has traditionally served as a streamlined pre-clearance tool for low-risk visitors, processing millions of applications annually. According to recent Department of Homeland Security data, more than 18 million travelers from visa-exempt nations visit the United States each year. The new requirements would place an additional burden on these travelers, essentially lengthening and complicating a process historically designed for efficiency. The policy aligns with the administration's broader agenda of tightening immigration systems and enhancing data-driven screening methods. Since President Donald Trump returned to office, his administration has repeatedly emphasized national security concerns, particularly around border control, the visa process, and digital identity verification. Over the past decade, DHS and the State Department have steadily increased the use of social media as a tool for security checks. In 2019, for example, the US began requiring many visa applicants to provide their social media handles, a move civil liberties groups argued could dampen free expression. The new proposal goes a step further. Rather than targeting specific visa categories, the administration intends to apply the requirement universally to all foreign visitors. Supporters argue that such measures can help investigators identify potential security risks, track extremist affiliations, and detect fraudulent travel intentions. However, privacy advocates warn that the policy creates an environment where normal online activity, political expression, or even misinterpretations of humor could be held against travelers in high-stakes entry decisions. Digital rights organizations such as the Electronic Frontier Foundation have described earlier measures as part of a trend toward expanding government monitoring of foreign nationals. They have argued that forcing visitors to disclose their online identities could have a chilling effect, discouraging people from speaking freely on social platforms or engaging in activism that might be politically sensitive. Some experts also note that social media vetting has a mixed track record in predicting risk, as content can be performative, satirical, or easily misinterpreted by automated tools. The announcement also comes at a time when the United States is preparing to host major global sports events, including FIFA World Cup matches next year. These events are expected to draw enormous international crowds, tens of thousands from Europe alone, which could put additional pressure on border and entry systems. Under current procedures, British and other visa-exempt travelers can complete the ESTA form, often receiving approval within minutes. The new requirements could significantly extend processing times, especially during high-traffic periods. The Federal Register notice opens a 60-day public comment window, a standard step before the government finalizes major regulatory changes. During this period, individuals, organizations, and foreign governments can express concerns or support for the proposal. Historically, large-scale data collection initiatives have generated substantial public feedback, particularly when they involve privacy risks or potential impacts on international mobility. This proposed expansion of digital surveillance fits into a larger pattern of immigration initiatives under the current administration. In recent months, officials have targeted several categories of foreign residents and applicants. The State Department has moved to subject H-1B applicants, high-skilled workers employed mainly in technology and engineering fields, to intensified online presence reviews. Their dependents, many of whom live in the US for extended periods, are now included in these screenings as well. There has also been renewed scrutiny on individuals already inside the United States. The administration has made efforts to revoke visas for those who have participated in protests related to the war in Middle East, citing national security grounds. Critics argue that revoking visas based on political activity risks conflating dissent with danger and may disproportionately affect immigrant communities accustomed to voicing opinions on global conflicts. Furthermore, the administration has recently announced plans to impose stricter limits on other forms of legal immigration following a high-profile criminal case involving an Afghan national accused of shooting 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. Although the suspect has pleaded not guilty, the incident triggered a new wave of calls for more aggressive vetting of asylum applicants, humanitarian parole entrants, and other categories of lawful migrants. The broader political landscape is also relevant. The Trump administration has consistently framed stronger immigration barriers as central to its governing philosophy. During the president's campaign, themes of security, border control, and immigration reform were repeatedly emphasized. The proposed social media disclosure rule reflects a belief that digital footprints are an essential part of modern security assessments, even if they extend deeply into personal and private spheres. From a logistical standpoint, collecting 5 years of social media identifiers from millions of travelers presents significant challenges. US authorities would need systems to store, categorize, and analyze the massive influx of data. Cybersecurity experts warn that any large database containing personal contact details, online identities, and family connections must be heavily protected to prevent unauthorized access. Past data breaches within government systems underscore the risks involved. In 2015, for example, the Office of Personnel Management suffered a major breach affecting more than 20 million people, including federal employees and contractors. Another complicating factor is that social media platforms vary widely across countries. Visitors from regions where Western platforms are restricted, such as China, where domestic sites dominate, would need to list alternative networks. This raises questions about how US authorities will interpret content from unfamiliar platforms and whether language or cultural nuances could lead to misinterpretation. As the comment period progresses, policymakers, civil liberties groups, and foreign governments are likely to weigh in. Some may argue that strong digital vetting aligns with global counterterrorism efforts, noting that several countries, such as Canada and Australia, have explored similar ideas. Others may warn that overly intrusive requirements could discourage tourism, strain international relationships, and deter innovation by creating obstacles for students, researchers, and tech professionals. What is clear is that the proposal marks a significant shift in how the US approaches border security in the digital era. It represents an intersection of technology, geopolitics, and individual privacy, an area where public debate is likely to intensify as the United States prepares for a period of heightened global attention.